What up, what up? It's been a few weeks, so wanted to come on here and talk some fights for tomorrow night. Pretty good card overall, but real quickly we will talk about the past couple events dating back to UFC 251. I don't think I recapped this one. Overall, I think it was a small loss on the night, mainly because Jose Aldo didn't come through for us. I don't regret that bet at all. Plus 200. He had his opportunities. He looked good in moments during the fight. He didn't have the gas tank and couldn't handle the pressure from Peter Yan. So it'll be interesting to see where Peter Yan goes from here. And I did say if you're on the side of Peter Yan, take him in that fourth or fifth round at I think it was like 12 to 1 or 15 to 1, because I thought that was a real possibility. But anyway, yeah, that was a pretty good card. Played out, kind of a lot of favorites won. Rose Namajunas, favorite, she won. Petr Yan, big favorite, he won. Volkanovski, debatable. You can score that fight for Max Holloway for sure, but Volkanovski, big favorite, he won. Kamaru Usman, big favorite, he won. So, and obviously Ribas, big favorite, and she won. So, it was a night where I think only maybe two underdogs won in the whole card, something like that. But anyway, then on to UFC Fight Night 172. I had a large parlay with Calvin Cater to cap it off, and he came through. Ended up being a very nice winning night. That was the Wednesday card. That's why I had the extra one in there. As well as Jimmy Rivera. Felt good about Jimmy Rivera winning that fight. And a guy to look out for, Morner Lazez. That dude is a sniper, man. He's vicious. You gotta watch out for that guy. His striking is legit. Shows some pretty good other well-rounded MMA skills as well. So that, even though I think we took a very small loss on 251, UFC Fight Night 172 ended up being a very good night. Then on to last week. So I had a small bet on Joseph Benavidez at around plus 190, I think it was. It was all kind of predicated behind him being able to survive those first couple of rounds and get Davison Figueiredo into the fourth and fifth round, which Figueiredo has never been in. It was a long shot. That bet obviously did not come through. However, a lot of other stuff came through that night. Ariane Lipski, I had a large wager on her. What else was on that card? Arman Sukarian. Had a large wager on him. He came through. Spivak, he delivered. Took a small loss on Malcolm Gordon. That was disappointing, but I don't regret that. It was at dog odds. Montel Jackson. So there was two decisions that didn't go my way that night. Montel Jackson and Pantoja. A little bit of a bummer. Would have been nice if at least one of them came through. They did not. That's okay because I had a nice parlay hit with Joel Alvarez on the under. What else was it? Jack Hermanson on the under, and I hedged against my Benavidez bet with Davison Figueiredo on the under. Gave fantastic odds. I, of course, wish I put more on it, but that's what we always say. But it was a nice hit. It's a very nice winning night on the night. So hopefully our fortune continues. Now I've done a little bit of research for tomorrow night's fights. Not as much as I would like to. I do have some leans, however. We'll start in the prelims. I have a value bet, if you will, with John Castenada at plus 400. He's, I think, the second biggest underdog on the card. Anyway, John Castenada to upset Nathaniel Wood. I do believe Nathaniel Wood should be the favorite in this fight. I just think that line is completely off. Castaneda at plus 400. I think he should really be around plus 200, plus 225, something like that. So I think it's a good value bet with Castaneda, even though I think the more likely scenario is Nathaniel Wood walks away with a W. Castaneda plus 400 is the play for me. Just a small bet, nothing crazy. It is his UFC debut, and it is on short notice. Those are things that definitely play against him. But he is a very experienced fighter. He's well-rounded. He's actually a pretty good fighter. And then also Nathaniel Wood's coming off of a knockout loss in his last fight. So you could even, I wouldn't say Nathaniel Wood's necessarily chinny, but it's definitely his chin's definitely not granite for sure. But yeah, Castaneda value bet plus 400. Some of these I don't have an opinion on because I did not do any research whatsoever. The Nicholas Stolze, I know he's a big underdog to Ramazan Ameev. I mean, don't bet against fighters that are in that region, even at Big Chalk. I would expect Ramazan Ameev to get the job done, probably by decision. Bech Carrera and Penny Khamzat. Bech Carrera, it's probably dog or pass at this point. I know it was pick 'em before, but you can't really trust Penny at chalk. So it's Bech Carrera or pass. Honestly, it's probably just pass altogether. Tanner Boser and Rafael Pessoa. I know Boser just fought 2 weeks ago and beat. I don't remember who he beat, but anyway. Yeah, it's a truly my first time having one of these. Not too bad. Pessoa, he's a pretty big underdog. Two big heavyweights. Pessoa plus 250. He's gonna have size, probably strength over Boser. I think it's Pessoa or pass in my opinion. It's dog or pass in this fight. So I think Pessoa's maybe even live for the knockout. I would take maybe Pessoa straight up or Pessoa on the under 2.5 rounds because for some reason that fight is pegged at dog money for under 2.5. So you could even just bet the under. You got two big heavyweights. I know Boser is usually a little more of a point fighter, even though he got a knockout in his last fight. But yeah, it's Pessoa or pass for me, or just bet the under. Or bet Pessoa on the under. I'm not sure how good his gas tank would be going into the third round. I think he probably would lose a decision, but yeah, Pessoa straight up, Pessoa on the under or just the under. Mike Grundy and Movsar Evloev. Very interesting fight. I didn't dig enough into it, but you're giving me Mike Grundy at nearly 2-1. I think from what I recall, he looks like the better wrestler, to be quite honest. Probably hits harder. 12-1 against 12-0. Yeah, give me Grundy at 2-1 or plus 180 or whatever he is right now. Actually, what is he at right now? Because I know he was plus 200. Grundy. Where's he at? It's 15 fights on this card, by the way, which is quite a bit. Grundy plus 170. I still like it. It'll probably be a very, very close fight though. So it's dog or pass for me on that fight. But give me Grundy at those odds. Let's go back here. Next fight, Jake Collier against Tom Aspinall. Man, Jake Collier looks way different in his UFC picture than he did at weigh-in. My goodness. I know he used to fight at middleweight. It looks like he ate all the middleweights at this point because his weigh-in.
I don't see a calendar set up. Want me to send a link to your phone to set up your calendar?
No. Apparently Alexa's tripping. Alexa. Okay, hopefully she doesn't interrupt. I think that's just just a pass fight altogether. Nicholas Dalby and Jesse Ronson. No real opinion on that fight. Jay Herbert and Francisco Trinaldo. I was originally thinking about taking Jay Herbert. I think it was like plus 150. That line has since changed quite a bit. Jay Herbert's now only plus 110. Not so sure I like that anymore. I'll probably end up passing on it or taking Trinaldo. How old is Trinaldo? I feel like he's 58. And of course, they're not going to give me his age. Let's just see here. Francisco Trinaldo is 41 years old. So 41-year-old going into, I think he missed weight too. Wasn't he one of the guys that missed weight? Let's look at UFC weigh-ins. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place. I want to say he missed weight. Let's just take a look. Okay, they made weight. Yes, Trinaldo missed weight, came in at 160 pounds. Jesus, Jake Collier came in at 264. So Trinaldo was the only one that missed weight. Okay. So aging Trinaldo that missed weight going overseas against Jay Herbert. I think the better move is just to bet the under 2.5 on this fight. I think you still get dog money on that. I'd still like to take Jay Herbert, but he is susceptible to getting taken down and possibly submitted or just out muscled, bullied maybe by Trinaldo. But man, 41, missing weight, going overseas. There's a lot of risk on Trinaldo. So it's probably dog or pass. Still need to think about that fight a little bit. Khamzat Chimaev against Bryce McGee. If you were able to get Khamzat at the opening line of minus 550 or minus 600, I would have taken that all day, but as it stands, he's minus 1300, which is ridiculous because he's his second fight in 10 days. There's some risk associated with that. Bryce McGee though is very susceptible to take down. I think it's just, do you take Khamzat on the under or do you take him on the over? Because I know on the over 1.5 rounds you get pretty good dog money. So I'm more inclined to play that than I am obviously Khamzat straight up, even though I think he rolls here just because McGee is so susceptible to those takedowns. Now if for some reason Khamzat isn't going to go in there and wrestle or something, then yeah, McGee is live. to a point, I still think Khamzat would win. But yeah, Khamzat, it's just a matter of, do you take him on the under or the over? It could get kind of sketchy because if you can't get him out of there in that first round, if you take him on the under, you're paying a big chalk for that under. So Peter Sobotta and Alex Oliveira. I feel like Alex Oliveira is old too, but I think he's only like 32 years old. I don't know why I always think he's older than he is. Alex Oliveira is, yeah, he's only 32. I always feel like he's older than that. Where was I? Alex Oliveira against Peter Sobotta. I like Peter Sobotta as an underdog. I think he's plus 150. I'll take those odds. Remember Alex Oliveira. He's been in a lot of battles. He's taken a lot of damage. I remember him going tooth and nail against Yancy Medeiros a few years back. So he's been in a lot of wars. That said, Peter Sobotta isn't the most durable of guys. But give me Peter Sobotta to submit. Yeah, give me Peter Sobotta as an underdog, either straight up or just bet the under 2.5 rounds, or Peter Sobotta by submission or under 2.5 rounds at pretty good odds. So yeah, I'll take Peter Sobotta underdog, plus 150. Yeah, I think he can get the job done, but he's got a fragility issue, so he's gonna have to avoid that knockout. Paul Craig and Gadzirma, I can't remember how to say his first name. Antigulov. I like Paul Craig. The guy just finds a way to win fights. But give me Antigulov in this one. Give me Antigulov as the underdog straight up. Give me Antigulov to win in the first or second rounds. That said, if he can't finish Paul Craig, I think Paul Craig could be live for a in-play opportunity if you can get some dog money on him. If he drops the first round and Antigulov looks like shit, or he's gassed at that point, I would play Paul Craig for in-play. But give me Antigulov as the underdog to come in and finish Paul Craig late first round sub. Not very confident in that, I will say. I think Antigulov's pretty old too. But he's also the Russian here, so a little bit of the home cooking or home field. Okay, so moving on. Marina Rodriguez and Carla Esparza. This fight I did watch a little bit more tape on than most of the other ones. I feel relatively confident that Marina Rodriguez wins the fight. She did fight to a draw against Cynthia Calvillo in her most recent fight. I know Marina Rodriguez is a favorite. I think she was minus 170 last time I looked. Let me just see where she's at right now. Yeah, minus 170. I think at one point she was only minus 150, minus 140 on the open, which is beautiful. Let me preface this by saying it seems like every time I fade Carla Esparza, she finds a way to win the fight. But hey, I'm going to fade her here. I do have a lot of respect for Carla Esparza because she's managed to stay relevant in the women's strawweight division, be a top 10 staple for years, and a strong, probably the strongest women's division there is between the 3 or 4, depending on if you consider featherweight a division anymore. Carla Esparza, she went from just a basically wrestler and that's it. You know, she didn't have any striking. She's grown. Her striking has developed. And she always has her wrestling to fall back on. That said, I do like Marina Rodriguez to win this fight. I think there is a fair chance that you could take Marina Rodriguez by finish at really good odds. I think it was like plus 350, plus 320, something like that. Reason being, so if you're gonna play Carla Esparza, you're purely hoping she's able to get takedowns, manage top control, or if Marina Rodriguez is able to get back up to her feet, Carla Esparza is able just to rinse and repeat with the takedowns. And I definitely don't see her having top control on Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, her takedown defense is actually fairly decent in my opinion. Other people have shit on her takedown defense, but in the Cynthia Calvillo fight, her most recent fight, yes, Calvillo went, I think, 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 on her takedowns against Rodriguez, but that's also a Cynthia Calvillo that missed weight by 5 pounds, and for small women, that means a lot. I think physicality in the women's divisions, especially strawweight, accounts for a lot. Technique, yes, but when a significantly bigger Cynthia Calvillo, who also has grappling capabilities, is able to get a hold of you, and she has that physicality, I think it means more than what Carla Esparza is going to bring to the table. Carla Esparza has great technique, but she is not going to have that physicality necessarily. So even if she does get Marina Rodriguez down, I do see Marina Rodriguez being the more physical girl, being able to get back to her feet, and then making Carla Esparza pay. It kind of surprised me. Marina Rodriguez is actually a year older than Carla Esparza. She's going to have significant size on Carla Esparza. She's 5'6" listed, over 5'1", with a 2-inch reach advantage, but that coupled with a height advantage and a significant leg reach advantage. I mean, the physical attributes have to favor Marina Rodriguez in this fight. So give me Marina Rodriguez. I'm going to take her. If you want to get the most value out of it, you can either take her by decision, or you can take her by which is what I'm going to do, at least on some. I'm taking at least a poke on it. Marina Rodriguez by finish basically, because I could also see not just her being live for a knockout, because this girl is vicious in the clinch. If she clinches against Carla Esparza, which I'm sure she will at some point in this fight, her knees are nasty, her elbows are nasty. She stalks girls. So I think she is live for the knockout victory. Or if Carla Esparza is able to get her to the ground, I could see Marina Rodriguez with those long legs, maybe locking up some kind of triangle or some kind of submission. I think that's a small possibility as well. That said, a lot of respect for Carla Esparza. She's made me pay before when I faded her, so I could see her come out and make it a close fight, get takedowns, maybe she does steal 2 rounds out of 3 and comes away with the decision. And you're getting good value on Carla at plus 150, plus 140, whatever she's at. So I can't fault anybody for taking the underdog, but I'm on Marina Rodriguez. Moving on, Alexander Gustafsson moving up to heavyweight to face Fabricio Werdum. And I know Fabricio Werdum looked like 70 years old in his last fight. Out of shape, fought like shit, had a couple chances to still win that fight against Alexei Olenek. But I have no idea why Fabricio Werdum is a plus 280 underdog against Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson looks in good shape. He looks like he's here. Maybe he's motivated. Maybe he thinks this is the move to turn his career around, if you will. Or maybe he's just here for a payday. Because Gustafsson looked like shit in his last fight too. So, yeah, Fabricio Werdum, I think he's 42, 43 now. But he is possibly one takedown away from winning this fight. So I'm going to take Fabricio Werdum in this fight. Maybe Alexander Gustafsson comes out and wipes the floor with Werdum. Gustafsson's never really been a one-shot knockout kind of guy for sure. So Fabricio, I expect him to have plenty of opportunities to fight to get this to the ground, even though Gustafsson's had traditionally good takedown defense. But yeah, it's dog or pass on this, and you're getting great dog money on Fabricio Werdum. I'm going to take him straight up. Maybe take a play on him. Fabricio Werdum on the under for even better odds, under 2.5 rounds. Because Gustafsson is a minus 345. Like, he might, like I said, he might win this fight. But do you guys? Hold on, I'm making a video. What did I say? Player switch. Do you guys, whoever's betting Gustafsson, do you guys not recall him tapping out to Anthony Smith in Gustafsson's home country in his last fight? Just remember that when you go to bet Gustafsson. That's all I'm saying. He tapped out to Anthony Smith in his home country. What do you think Fabricio Werdum's gonna do to him if they hit the mat? And I also expect Fabricio Werdum to be in much better shape this fight. I think it's a pick'em fight. So you're getting, I think it's a 50-50 fight. Maybe you could slightly lean Gustafsson just from Werdum's advancing age, the wars he's been in, coming off USADA. I get all that. It's much closer to a 50-50 fight. So I'm siding with Fabricio Werdum. Plus 280 is the move for me. Moving on, we have Shogun against Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. To be quite honest, I have not seen either of their first two fights. I don't have a strong opinion other than I am going to fade Nogueira. I think Shogun has more ways to win. Both guys are chinny. Both guys are probably one shot away from being knocked out. I mean, Nogueira, what was his last fight? Let's see. So Nogueira knocked out UFC's homepage is shit. I'm gonna go Shogun. I know he's a small favorite or minus 180 favorite. I'm okay with that. But it is risky. Maybe just bet the under. If you can get under 2.5 rounds at a decent price, that's probably the way to go. Probably just sit back and enjoy the two legends fight. Hopefully neither guy takes too much damage at this point. But anyway, moving on to the main event, we have Robert the Reaper Whittaker against Darren Till. when they first announced this fight, I liked Robert Whittaker. After thinking about it, and after the weigh-ins, I still like slightly Robert Whittaker. I placed a small bet on him when he was minus 115. Basically a straight up pick 'em. I think the line has now moved, and his odds have declined. If I'm not mistaken, he is now he's right about minus 130, so minus 140 in some places. I think that's more where it should be. I don't think you're getting any value on him at this point. At those odds, it's probably dog or pass. But I have a small wager on Robert Whittaker. Pick 'em odds. I see him landing the harder shots. I see him having maybe more ways to win, a little more diverse. I think he's going to have more explosion. I was watching one of his interviews from, I think it was like Monday. He seems to be excited to be back, which is very important. He seems to be motivated. He says he's been training as hard as ever been. The pressure won't be there on him of maintaining the championship and defending the championship. He can just go out there and fight. I think that's important to him. It's really honestly a matter of, will Robert Whittaker's chin hold up? And it is a big if. Till could get a knockout here at middleweight. Till does have power still. But I would argue he doesn't have more power than Yoel Romero, and Till doesn't have, I'm talking about Till here. Till doesn't have more power than Yoel Romero, and Till doesn't have that precision and speed of Israel Adesanya. So Whittaker was able to survive 50 minutes. It got real dicey in that second fight with Yoel, but he was able to survive 50 minutes with Yoel Romero, and he took a hellacious beating against my boy Israel Adesanya, which, by the way, I bet a lot at the time. I bet a lot on Israel Adesanya at plus 130, I think it was, to beat Robert Whittaker. So I really have no bias on Robert Whittaker. I slightly lean him, and if the line does come back down on him, he would be the play, in my opinion. Matter of his chin holds up and his cardio. He's able to maintain volume throughout the fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a good main event. You could maybe even just take the under 4.5 rounds. I think there's some value in that at dog money. I think it was at dog money anyway. I'll double check that. But yeah, give me Robert Whittaker in that. Till's hungry, man. He looked really good in their final stare off too. So I'm not going to take anything away from Till. He is still live for a knockout or pulling out a very, very close decision. So it's a close fight, is what I'm saying. It's a very close fight, but I still lean Robert Whittaker. So that is tomorrow night. What else did I want to talk about? Anything? Yeah, a much better card, I think, tomorrow night than next week. Looking at next week, it's not too bad. Next week, they pulled Holly Holm and Irene Adana, which I'm not sure why that was the main event. By the way, you can end the video now if all you're here for predictions. I'm just going to chat it up about the next couple cards. Derek Brunson, big underdog against Edmund Shabazian. I got to give that one some thought. You got Vicente Luque on there against Randy Brown. That's interesting. Joanne Calderwood, Jennifer Maya. Lando Venata, always fun to watch for at least one round. Kevin Holland's fighting again. God damn, how many times this guy fought? What else? Anything noteworthy on there? Damn, Ray Borg's fighting it too. Nothing else really noteworthy for next week. But then I think you get a week off and you have UFC 252, which is a pretty good card. Just looking ahead here. Doesn't show me the prelims, but you got Sugar Sean O'Malley against Marlon Vera. That's a good ass fight. I'm a big O'Malley fan, have been for a couple years now. But you can't count out Chito Vera, honestly. Pedro Munoz and Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar, I think this is finally where he goes to bantamweight. Ian Kudalaba and Magomed Ankalaev rematch. That's going to be interesting. Joshino Rosenstruck coming back after being viciously knocked out by Francis Ngannou against Junior Dos Santos. That's a pretty good co-main event in my opinion. Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier. Win, lose, or draw. I fully expect that to be Daniel Cormier's last fight. I have my initial lean on that fight and who I think I'll probably be taking, but we'll save that for another video. And then they also have announced September's, I guess that would be UFC 253's main event. Paulo Costa facing the champion Israel Adesanya. That is going to be a fantastic main event. So anyway, I'm gonna stop here before I start rambling. Comment below, let me know what you guys think about tomorrow night's fights or tonight's fights whenever you're watching this. Good luck to you on whatever bets you're placing. I hope you guys smash it. I hope you guys kill it. Hopefully this money train continues. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later.